Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Real or Real podcast. We're going to be taking part in a event that is called Podcasthon, which is basically where a bunch of different podcasts get together and they talk about different charities and organizations and stuff like that. And the organization that we discussed is an organization known as Haunters Against Hate, because me and Pixie both are very close to this organization, and we really want to put it out there as much as possible. So, yeah, my name is BoneDragon, and joining me for this very special episode is
PyxieDusted.
Yay! So, Pixie, Honors Against Hate. We were there for the inception of this organization.
Yes.
Right?
We were both actively haunters at the time. And for those of you that are unaware, a haunter is the scare actor, or anyone else involved in the organization, the owners, security, anyone involved with a haunted attraction to help make it run. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, if we have any outside of the U.S. Listeners, when we talk about a haunt, we're talking about a haunted attraction. It is the Halloween houses, the spook houses that you go to in a fair or whatever, and those things.
Haunted corn mazes, hay rides, professional haunts and home haunts.
Right, that sort of thing. I was a haunt actor for 16 years. That's probably the longest career I've ever had. With that, most of the time, whenever I go to work somewhere, I'll work there for 6 months and be like, this job sucks, But yeah, so I did it for 16 years. Pixie, how long did you go?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think it was somewhere around 8 years off and on, 9 years, something like that.
Right. But we kind of want to keep a third-person perspective on this between the two of us. So we brought in a special guest.
And that special guest is Tab, who is currently the acting director at American Horrorplex Productions in Kentucky. Tab, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. What's up? Glad to be here.
You have a lot of experience in the haunted attraction industry as well. How long have you been in?
I think it's been around 13, 14 years now. I started when I was 12 and I am now 25. So it's been a while. Been quite a ride.
All your life.
Yeah, I grew up in it basically.
So you pretty much have to get to know people and, everybody that you're working with and tell them how to do their job.
Basically, yeah. I train and recruit the cast, and then I have some lovely people that also help me do that. And I oversee all of our actors, and I get to know them. At this point, everybody there is like a second family to me, so we're pretty close.
So you work definitely on a one-on-one basis with these people, and you know what kind of issues they're going through, the things that are going on in their lives, and beyond just what happens at the haunt.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever we used to do this exercise at our training camps before we would open for the season, and it's kind of like a trauma pit. Everybody would write down their trauma, and we would throw it in the fire after we read it off. So it was kind of like a bonding exercise that one of our crew members took from the armed forces, because she used to be in the Army.
Nice. That actually sounds pretty therapeutic.
Yeah, no, everybody seemed to take pretty well to it, and we would scream it because we'd mix them up. Everybody would take one. We would go around the circle and read one, and then we'd be like, "Yeah, F that guy," or sorry that happened to you, and then we would throw it in the fire at the end, and it would just get burned up.
Nice. So today we are here and we're going to be talking about an organization called Haunters Against Hate. Before that, let's go ahead and go into if there are any trigger warnings or anything like that. Obviously, we're going to be talking about an organization that deals with bigotry and basically hate of any kind of minority. Are there any other trigger warnings in any of our stories that we're going to be talking about here?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think pretty much just overall hate and prejudice and discrimination kind of covers it all.
Cool. What? No, not cool. I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway, so with that being said, let's get into our story.
Let me tell you a story.
All right, so Hunters Against Hate is an organization that was that is spearheaded by a friend of ours named Paul. Paul is the big driving force behind this. It is a 501c3 organization, and they are a charity that collects donations. They sell products and everything, and everything like that, with the hopes of giving those donations to other organizations. Organizations that really don't get a whole lot of attention. So mostly they work for the LGBTQ plus community, but they're also known to give to other organizations that are in need. Any kind of donation is tax deductible, all that other good stuff. I am going to actually be doing an interview with Paul here soon. So that's going to come up as a bonus video, because this is an organization that I and Pixie both, we really support this because we think it is something that is very necessary. I mentioned earlier that me and Pixie were very close to this organization, and that's because inciting event that caused this to become a necessary thing happened to two friends of ours. They were two guys who owned a haunted attraction, and they were a married couple. They were a couple of gay men who owned this place together, and they were in a relationship together, and they were very happy. And honestly, they're probably some of the best friends I've ever had. They are good people. And we've always been big supporters of them. We've always been big supporters of whatever ventures they want to do and whatnot. And in 2016, the Pulse nightclub shooting happened. And that was a massive tragedy on a nationwide scale. Unfortunately, there was a group in the haunted attraction industry that took that as an opportunity to make a very bigoted joke at the expense of our two friends. Basically what they said was that these people that made this joke said was, when they were looking through the list of victims, there were two people that they wanted to see in there, but weren't. And of course,
that's just horrible to say about anybody.
Exactly.
Their relationship status, sexual orientation aside, like, you don't say that about anybody. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, why would you say that? And it was terrible. I mean, and the problem with this was that, just like any industry, you've got reviewers. You've got people that review films, people that review movies, people that review books. Any kind of industry, there's going to be a group of people who review things. You've got all kinds of different reviewers, and the haunted attraction industry is no different. It's just that I personally don't understand why haunted attraction reviewers have the power that they have within the industry. I think it's because it's, the haunted attractions are more of a creative endeavor. So people that own them, that act in them, and, run them, they want to see that their work is being appreciated. So I understand that, but, that leads to situations like this one where this group, who were haunted attraction reviewers, said this because they felt like that they were untouchable. And they felt like that their word carried more sway in the industry than it actually did,
And I also feel like a good point in this is that anytime you're in any type of professional business setting, even though I can't remember if the comment was made on their business social media or personal, I think it was personal. But either way, as we've seen just recently with actors in Hollywood, things that you say, even on your personal accounts in your day-to-day life, they come back to haunt you.
Exactly.
No pun intended. It's not, if you're in a business that deals professionally face to face with people, you don't trash talk those people who are in essence the basis of your business.
Exactly. I mean, ever since that situation, this organization has pretty much become a pariah within the area. But the thing is that they're still around, because there are, they still do have supporters, which to me is a big issue. And it really brings to light this problem that is within not just the haunt industry, but our society as a whole, that this is still an issue, which is why groups like Haunters Against Hate or some other organizations that work against it are still necessary.
So stemming from this event, tell us what happened. What happened next?
What happened next was our two friends penned a very professional letter rebuking what was said, and then passed it around to all of their haunted attraction owner friends, and all those people signed it as well. And then they basically just put out in a public manner, I'm pretty sure it was on social media, a copy of this letter with all of this huge list of signatures from people that own these other haunted attractions, basically saying that this organization, this review group, was no longer welcome at their haunted attractions. And that seriously affected this review group's reputation. It really dug in deep and brought this issue to the surface within the industry. And there was a whole lot of people taking sides on this. And you could tell who was on what side simply because, you know, you just had to look for that Haunters Against Hate logo on their flyers or whatever. Or, you know, you had to look for their name within the letter and whatnot. But, okay, so that's what our two friends did. And they caused that. And then our friend Paul, who is, he was within the haunted attraction industry, he came to our two other friends and said, hey, listen, I think we could do more with this. Do you mind if I take it over and turn it into an actual charity? So they said, take it, run with it. And he's done that ever since. And he has poured so much energy into this organization. And their website says that as of 2021, they've raised $75,000 in grants for different organizations. And there's a whole lot of different stories that Paul has of people who were coming up to him in various horror conventions or haunted attraction conventions and whatnot, who were telling him, hey, I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin until I found out about this, you know.
And
so
that's one thing about the haunted attraction community is that what a lot of people that don't have any association with it don't understand is that most people that are involved in this community are, I don't want to say outcasts. That's not the right word. We're the weirdos. We're the people who most other people don't understand us, you know, and a lot of us are in the LGBTQIA plus community or are autistic or have ADHD or various other things that we live with. And you come together in this community and you become a family because this is, for some people, the first time in life where they found someplace where they are actually accepted for who they are. And there's a whole lot of love in this community. And the fact that there's hate from inside and outside of that community is one of the main reasons why an organization like this is so important.
And it's heartbreaking.
So necessary. It is. And it's so necessary. And as much good as they are doing, there is still more work that needs to be done. It's there are issues that are still occurring as far as hate and discrimination and bigotry in the industry today.
And that's the problem because, like, you know, when I was in the industry, it very much felt like a family, you know, because these people that I was working with, I got to know them so well and it felt like family. And whenever this issue came up, that's when you'd have, you know, you'd find out that people that you were connecting with really are either not very good people or people that you didn't really like, you started to respect more, you know? Tab, you've been in the industry sooner than either of us.
Well, Tab is still there. We're retired.
Tab's still there, but like, you know, is there anything like that that's still going on today?
So I can't get into a lot of the details, just simply because, like, I don't want to, you know, expose anybody. But I mean, there are still groups of people that are within the, like, haunted house industry that are still actively promoting and spreading hate and encouraging more people to do so. And it's really interesting because I feel like it's getting, at least in the area that I have been in and am still in, it's not necessarily like that. Because I've fortunately have been lucky enough to always be in like an inclusive kind of space when it comes to like haunted attractions. But in other areas that, and I wouldn't have even known that some of the stuff was going on unless people are actively, exposing that there is still hate out there, which, I mean, obviously you can kind of safely assume that unfortunately there is going to be some kind of hate. That's just, the society that we live in nowadays. But, I mean, there's still, altercations between even other haunted attractions having it out for each other. And I think that is one of the more unfortunate things, because I feel as if like owners and other haunted attractions and even cast and crew of other haunted attractions should, accept people even if they're not within the same space, like physical space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. No, I mean, like, I think that that's sort of an issue with everywhere, and it's like the haunt industry is like a little microcosm as an, exploration of this issue.
So, I mean, if we're going to take it back to kind of reflecting on some of my personal experiences that I've had with like myself and also with the other cast and crew that I've encountered throughout the years, I have seen so many people like with creating an inclusive space. I think the overarching thing with haunted houses and, haunted attractions as a whole is that it's supposed to bring people together through, creativity and storytelling. And it's super important that the people behind the scenes feel safe and respected as well. And like I mentioned earlier, I've always been pretty lucky, at least with the haunted house that I have worked at. It's always been inclusive. Like even before Haunted Against Hate was founded, it's always felt pretty safe and everybody was respectful and inclusive. And I've seen a lot of people grow and blossom throughout the years and even feel safe enough to be able to come out. And whether that be, they come out with their sexuality, or maybe they come out as like a different gender identity. Like I myself even, through like that, I was there throughout my formative years and I was able to befriend so many different types of people. And it made me feel safe within kind of like my own skin and the people that surrounded me. I knew that I was in a space where I would always feel supported and protected. So like I was able to come out myself. And yeah, I feel like that's really important for a lot of people, because sometimes it's about having that third space. You know what I mean? Because people can always go to work, sure. They can always go home, sure. But, if that home life is not good, if that work life is not good, then they know that they have, the haunted house space that they can come back to. And that's their sacred third space where they feel respected, protected, listened to, heard, to just kind of be open and be themselves.
And that's really one of the reasons why Hunters Against Hate is such an important organization, because like you said, a lot of people don't have that safe space at home or at work, and this is all they have. So to them to have a space where they can be themselves and feel comfortable and feel loved and feel safe is so very important. And especially for like older teenagers and young adults, there aren't that many options for places for them to go to be around people like themselves or not like themselves and be accepted and feel comfortable.
Which is very that. And the fact that so many owners have like come together, and Paul put this whole thing together where, I mean, it's like throughout the whole US, like he supports different types of organizations throughout the whole US, and it's even gone, I think, overseas. I think it's something in Germany.
International. Yeah, they've done quite a few things in Germany. It is definitely an international organization at this point.
Yeah, which, I mean, just the fact that so many like owners and attractions, it doesn't even have to necessarily be haunted attractions, because I know that there are some supporters on his list that he like publicly puts out that aren't necessarily in the, you wouldn't necessarily consider them to be haunted houses.
Yeah, it's definitely grown to include more businesses and organizations that aren't in the haunt industry, which is a wonderful thing. I'm so happy that it's gotten to the point that it can grow to that size.
Yeah. It's the sense of community that everything is like everybody is coming together to stand for inclusion of literally whatever is awesome.
And I think that that's amazing. It's great because, you know, there seems to be a whole lot of polarizing ideas in our society today that you're either with us or against us on both sides. And I think what helps is knowing that you have somewhere where you could fall back and just kind of be, you know. On the other side of that, you know, you've also got organizations and groups that are working against that sort of thing. And I think that they are, especially now with our current situation, they're being emboldened to really get out there and just do some really hateful, evil things, you know? And I like the idea of everybody having that space where they can be like, okay, I'm safe here, you know, even within, no matter what the industry is or no matter what the social grouping is, it's nice to know that there is an area where people can come in and be like, okay, I could sit here and breathe for a moment, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think one of like my favorite things, like interacting with actors one-on-one and just kind of even like hanging out with people, is watching somebody come in for audition and they're so shy, they're so quiet. You can kind of tell that maybe that's kind of the environment that they've been in, like they've been repressed, not listened to. And over the course of like a season, you're giving them the platform and the support that they need to be able to grow into, I mean, a fantastic actor, but not even just that. Like, you'll notice throughout a season, even interacting with them while they're not acting, they're growing into like a standout person. Like, their personality really starts to shine through. And that's like it for me. Like, that's the gold star that I feel like, okay, I've really succeeded at what I've done. I've made this person kind of come out of their shell. I've provided, you know, a space where they feel that they are allowed to have a voice and be somebody that they want to be. And I think, I don't know, that just lights me up whenever I see that happen at the end of season.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's fantastic whenever you, like, you're watching people on the other side come out of their shell and they're, you know, starting to realize, oh, you know, this is cool. I could do this. And then, they start to become more confident in their abilities. And even outside of the whole minority grouping thing, just people being able to really become more confident in themselves. Just really in their lives as a whole. Not just in, I'm a good actor, but also they could take that forward and be like, okay, I can be more assertive at work now. Or I can I can speak out whenever there's something going on at home that I don't agree with. It's a really great thing to, for people that don't feel like that they can voice their opinions or thoughts in other aspects of their lives.
Yeah, and I mean, I can attest to that from like personal experience, because like when I first started out in the industry, I was the shyest kid, didn't talk to anybody, nobody. I was a puppy dog because I started with you guys. I followed you guys around all the time, and I only really talked to you guys. And now I have to talk to everybody. I have to interview everybody. I have to train people. I have to give speeches every single night to the whole cast and crew. Like, I mean, that's just coming from personal growth, that like, creating just like a safe space where people feel supported and they feel like, they have the room to grow. Like, it's not a box. I think is like the most important thing, like ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that you could be proud of, The fact that you're able to build this where it's not just, okay, I am now out of my shell. I can now help these other people come out of their shell as well,
Exactly that.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Tab. We really enjoyed talking about Haunters Against Hate, and also talking about the haunt industry in general. So for everybody listening out there and or watching, tell us, where can we find more information on specifically American Horrorplex Productions and Haunters Against Hate?
Yeah, so I mean, you can find us on pretty much every single social, so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, under just American Horrorplex. And we also have a website, AmericanHorrorplex.com, YouTube as well, because I mean, why not? But that's where you can find us. And we're in Kentucky. If you're ever in town, if you want to come visit, we do drag shows occasionally on the stage that we have outside. And I mean, it's a fun time. We have a little petting zoo. And if you're looking for information on Haunters Against Hate, I mean, you can find Haunters Against Hate pretty much on all socials as well. They're pretty active on Facebook under Haunters Against Hate, and their website. You can go to HauntersAgainstHate.com. You can sign up to donate. If you're a business, you can also sign up to be a business, and you'll be listed in their little business thing they have on their website. And you'll see all the organizations that they work with and donate to, and some cool testimonies there as well.
They also have a lot of merch that you can buy if that's a way that you would like to support them. And that also, it advertises for them as well by wearing their merch. So not only are you directly supporting them monetarily by buying their merch, you're also supporting them by maybe someone seeing you wearing a t-shirt and then asking, hey, what is that? And that's a great way to spread the word. All right.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, there we go. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. And I don't think I'm going to do the normal outro that I do because, I don't want this to be about us. I want this to totally be about Haunters Against Hate right now. So if you get a chance, run on over to HauntersAgainstHate.com, and I will, like I said, will be interviewing Paul, who is the head of Haunters Against Hate, for some point in the future. That's going to happen. But yeah, Thank you all for listening, and thank you, Tab, for being here as our guest.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right.
So go check out Haunters Against Hate. Visit your local haunted attraction when the time comes later in the year.
Yeah. And thank you all for listening. And until next episode,
Keep it real, spread some more love.